the people who are, the 3DS devotees, that's a large group of people. And to simply just up and not feature those people and expect them to go buy a home console is, seems to me kind of short-sighted. So there's been a lot of lawyer speak around it. Nintendo president Tatsumi Kimishima said that the company, will, target different markets, but he still feels that is a market they need to stay in, dedicated handhelds. They see that there's still money there. And I think, and this is the interesting thing, I've noticed that in the last year or so, the conversation has changed. Just a few years ago, there was this talk that smartphone games were going to absolutely obliterate handheld gaming. Here we are a few years later. That is yet to happen. I'm not going to say that, handhelds are winning that fight. I don't even know if that's really a fight. I wonder if those are two distinct markets that will, in fact, coexist into the future.
I've always viewed mobile and handheld as different. I've had people try to tell me that they consider handheld and console to be the same thing. I'm like, no, they are very different from one another. I'm not just talking about the hardware. It's just its own beast onto itself. There's certain studios that only make franchises just for one or the other. And there's certain studios that only work on one or the other. Whenever you get to see that, you're just like, it has its own theme. Certain franchises are much more prominent on handheld versus on console. And PC can just emulate everything, so it really doesn't matter. PC elitism. Hooray! But to me, I don't even think that they fully tapped the potential of the 3DS hardware yet. So I don't know if it's necessary to even upgrade it, because it's still fucking selling like it's going out of style.
Oh, sure. And from there, the discussion really is, Reggie Fils-Aimé has, I don't have the exact quote. His quote was much more cryptic because that's just how he talks, because he's the American spokesman for a Japanese fronted company, so there's probably a gun in his back when he says anything. But he makes it seem like it is, a few years out, if there is one, which is an interesting statement. There isn't one, but if there is, it'll be later. And
I have to imagine there has to be, because when you think about it, when it comes to handhelds, Nintendo's been in the zone for almost 30 fucking years. They've never had an unsuccessful handheld ever. They get a shit ton of money out of that. So why wouldn't you just keep pumping cash out of that?
Well, not only that, but I would like to believe that they are not foolish enough to think that they've made any sort of effort to usher their handheld audience into the home market space. I do not think they've, sure, they've been the king of handhelds, and they've had their home system because they stopped being the king of home systems, for a time. But they've always, had that. But I do not think, and especially with now the online connectivity possibilities that happen between the 3DS and the Wii U, they made no effort, and I can say that honestly, to usher the 3DS people to go buy a Wii U. Yeah. If the Miiverse could have been used for anything, it could have been to convince the Nintendo 3DS people to tell them about the Wii U. And they made almost no effort to usher one audience to another place. And for them to simply drop that audience right now would be disastrous and catastrophic.